today, which I know that you are all going to enjoy and learn a lot from. I'm looking forward to it as well. And to start us off, I guess I'll have Rob.
Yeah, I'll introduce Ray. So hi, everybody. I'm Rob. I'm the Gale Ventures Program Manager. I teach a couple entrepreneurship classes. I've had a bunch of you in class before. It's cool. Nice to see you all. So our speaker for today is Ray Wilcox. Ray and I have known each other since 2016, I think. 2017, something like that. We've worked together, like in my business. We did some work together, and now we're collaborating in a lot of other ways. Ray's awesome. So you're all really lucky to have him here. He's the Executive Director of Yonkers Arts. As a strategic marketer for over 15 years, Ray and his partners created the Power Lab, a co-working facility and incubator dedicated to providing our underserved communities with business and financial literacy resources. Initially serving on the board of Yonkers Arts, the executive committee nominated Ray to serve as executive director. In this role, Ray has led successful fundraising efforts for the organization and launching of many programs utilizing grants, contracts, and donations. A prime example being the installation of the Black Lives Matter mural in front of Yonkers City Hall. Ray is recognized by the state, the county, and the city of Yonkers for his leadership and community impact. He's a Business Council of Westchester 40 Under 40 Rising Star awardee, a mentor, and has been dedicated to social justice throughout his entire career. Ray Wilcox, everyone.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
I got the mic? Oh, man, I'm talking to the mic. Oh, snap. Hey, let's get this. Actually, I might not even need it. Do you need it to record? We good? All right, good. I'm going to just speak loud. I'm good. I can accentuate. Oh, you need me to hold it? All right, cool. All right, y'all figured that. Listen, I appreciate you guys. Thanks, Rob, for the phenomenal intro. I mean, that bio is going on my website immediately. Before we kick off, I'm not sure you want to say anything before we kick off. I know you want to maybe, no, we're good? I'm good to go? All right, perfect. All right, again, my name is Ray Wilcox. I am the Executive Director of Yonkers Arts. Before we get into my presentation, I want to give you guys a quick video run through. This is actually a video we just did for fundraising because going into gala season and I need to raise some money. And this is what I'm using to really solicit. So take a look. It's good. It's a good intro to my organization, what we do. And then I'll go into the presentation after that. All right? So 2 minutes and then just enjoy.
What's going on, family? My name is Ray Wilcox, Executive Director of Yonkers Arts, a nonprofit dedicated to developing strong, effective, and cooperative networks of artists, cultural organizations, and members of the community to promote and encourage the arts here in the city of Yonkers. We focus on 3 core values: development of our artists, beautification of Yonkers, distribution of creative art-based programs for our youth, adults, and seniors in the community. It's a place where individuals of all ages and backgrounds come together to celebrate, learn, and to grow. And now, with the Power Lab, we can begin encouraging more entrepreneurship via startups, nonprofits, and small business development. 2023 was a great year for the organization, directly engaging over 1,500 businesses in Yonkers Arts project space. We installed 4 murals. Our exhibition features roughly over 125 mixed media artists of all levels of experience and backgrounds. Yet, as we stand on the threshold of a new year, we need your support. Your generosity is crucial to fueling our diverse range of offerings, from expanding our youth initiative to curating more exhibitions that resonate with our community. Every dollar counts. We want to assure our donors that their contributions will be used wisely and effectively. So here's a transparent breakdown of how funds will be allocated. A portion will go to expanding our educational programs, another to curating thought-provoking exhibitions, portions to maintaining and improving our fine art gallery, and finally, the overall sustainability of the organization. Join us on this journey. Your contribution, whether big or small, can make a significant impact. Together, let's continue building a future where the arts are a vehicle for positive change. Thank you for being a vital part of Yonkers Arts.
So I'm very, very big on content creation. I'm a little bit different than your typical entrepreneur. I call myself an unconventional entrepreneur where I find value in really the give back. So a lot of my things are paying it forward. I come from a corporate background. My previous job was working in cinema advertising. So I was doing that for 6 years prior to what I am now. And I left there to essentially find more equity in myself in regards to what I'm doing in regards to like my career. So I left corporate America to create the Power Lab, which is essentially a community co-working facility that was created to, thank you, that was created to enhance the stability and the development of our small businesses, nonprofits, and startups in Yonkers. So again, when I was working in corporate, I used to take these long, extended lunches at like a WeWork that was right around the corner from me. I mean, I used to get in trouble all the time. What I did was I sat there and I just really absorbed the ambiance and what was happening within these doors. And what I found was something really substantial, was the development of our businesses using collaboration. So I essentially left corporate America, six-figure salary, into doing something that I really felt was more equitable for myself. So I went into the nonprofit world, and I'll take you through a little bit of a journey. So Yonkers Arts. So Yonkers Arts is, and I'll get into Power Lab a little bit later, but Yonkers Arts is my baby now. What we're doing here at Yonkers Arts is we're creating a community and a network of artists, galleries, museums in Yonkers to essentially work off each other, build a network, and raise as much funds as possible so I could help develop some of our up-and-coming artists. Artists are small businesses, they're startups themselves. We help them understand that. We also give them opportunities for gigs. So I do tons of murals. I have a gallery. I have a 4,000 square foot gallery. I have all these opportunities and relationships actually, again, to allow for our small businesses to thrive. So if we have a mural opportunity, I reach out to our local artists, put a call out, $20,000, $25,000 job right there in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like there's tons of opportunities to turn your passions, is what I'm trying to tell you, into actually a paying gig. So again, Yonkers Arts, again, we are a nonprofit. We are 501c3. One of the few Black-led nonprofits that dives into the arts. One of the few that actually has a full functioning gallery. The three things that we're big on. I'm very big on providing art education to our community. How can we provide our creatives the opportunities to develop? So from the youth up until seniors, we provide them art education opportunities. We also provide our artists with paid gigs. So like I said, the mural jobs, these sculpture jobs, these installations, activations, we allow them to then come on board to get paid. And then finally, I go all throughout the city and work with the city of Yonkers and our various partners to beautify our city. How can we add more color, more character, more distinguishing features within our city? And we've been doing that for the past couple years. The power of collaboration. So I'm very big on relationships. I left corporate, being a director of marketing, but I used to always go to different departments to actually ask them questions. So one of my biggest partners and mentors to this day was the director of strategic partnerships. And I used to ask him questions all the time, like what's the value in doing this and getting to know this person and really developing that relationship. And what I found with that is that, again, these relationships can last forever. Like, even if I was to leave particular corporate, I could still reach out to some of these relationships I had, what I built when I was at corporate. Perfect example, again, the reason why I'm here to this day is because, again, I worked with Rob, 6 years ago on a particular project, and again, we developed a really tight relationship, and I'm gonna still harness and maintain that relationship going forward with everything that I do, because again, I see value in what he does, and he sees value in what I do, so that relationship is seamless. So again, I have relationships with all of these particular art and institutions. So Yonkers Public Schools is not an art institution, but strong relationship with them as well. But I'm very big on keeping things within our, again, wheelhouse. How can I help these guys? Because at the end of the day, they help us. I'm a brand strategist. At the end of the day, what I seen when I left corporate and I was within Power Lab, I had to do a serious analysis. Like, am I really getting into the arts? Is there value in getting into the arts? But then when I seen stats like this, and I seen the actual community that we had in Yonkers, it was an easy sell for me. So I had a great product, I know how to sell it, and I have great relationships, and that's the reason why it was easy for me to, again, take Yonkers Arts to the next level. When I came into Yonkers Arts, our annual budget was about $15,000 annually. To this day, I wanted to make sure I was right before I came here. We're just crossing the $750K annual revenue, and that's in less than 5 years. So even through COVID, we essentially had our best year. Listening to Mike talk, the previous speaker, talk about how COVID impacted his business. It's crazy how in a nonprofit that actually fast-tracked our success through actual pandemic. These are some stats that is very significant because, like I said, this particular. I just finished this deck last night because I'm using this. It's like a dual purpose deck. I use this as a template. I actually added some slides with some pricing tiers because I'm in a process right now of selling because our gala and Yonkers Arts Weekend is like two of our core events and projects that we do annually that brings in, I would say, about 50% of our revenue. Right? So, and that's indiscretionary funds, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But again, these are some of the stats that even back then when I came into doing analysis from leaving corporate, did it make sense for me to really jump into this? And once I noticed that the actual value of the equity was this impactful, it was an easy sell for me. So this is some of the stuff that I currently got going on. So the Power Lab currently is located in Southwest Yonkers. It's about 3,000 square feet. The purpose of the project is to really, how can I work with startups like you guys, provide them with a space similar to this, beautiful spaces, provide you guys the resources at a fraction of the cost. Not only will we do that, but we also will help you guys in different industries. So how can we drive more nonprofits? How can we create more like social impactful companies that we could really engage the community? So this is just a rendering of what we're looking to do. I have the opportunity to really bring this project to my adjacent to my gallery and expand about 60,000 square feet. So I'm trying to go from 3,000 square feet to 60,000 square feet, offering this actual services to the community. We do beautification efforts. We just unveiled this mural at the MCA station in downtown Yonkers. It's about 50 feet by 8 feet high, right at the Metro North Station in downtown Yonkers, directly across the street from the library. And this is just an example of my relationships that I have in Yonkers. I'm very big on relationships because, like I said, like paying it forward is currency, relationships are currency, but at the same time too, being able to kind of move at your own way is there's a certain currency in that too. Like that right there, I would say, I mean, it's not six figures, but I would say it's kind of close. Our exhibitions, I have a 4,000 square foot gallery right in the Carpet Mills Arts District. And while I'm not a curator in itself, I'm a very big fan of hip hop. Like you can see, like I'm always true to who I am, always. So we had the opportunity to feature a tribute exhibition to DMX. And for those that know, DMX is like one of the gods in Yonkers. Like again, despite going through what he went through, that right there was one of the most revered shows that we actually had at our exhibition. About 5,000 people came by to see the actual show, which was something that we never experienced before. But at the end of the day, it was a way for our community and our youth, because there's a certain disconnect after a certain age of who DMX was and kind of what he represented. So what I did with this show was I provided a way to see X, hear X, and just kind of feel X. And that was like the basis of it. Never curated a show in my life, but at the same time too, I was able to learn from a few curators in my community to understand how to place and all this stuff. So I'm always learning as an entrepreneur, as a nonprofit director. I'm always learning from those that's been doing it before me, and I tend to that's currency in itself as well. I have tons of programs, so I'm very big on how can we bring programs directly into the community. I'm not the type of person, again, even if I had the space and opportunities within my location, how can I bring them to you? So we have tons of program and offerings that we offer to the community directly within the schools. I go into municipal housing. I mean, again, I go into the hood. I'm telling you, we're everywhere in Yonkers. We go to places that people really want to go to do some of these stuff. So again, we're big on how can we provide, again, the youth with opportunities to, again, not only learn their passions, but then take their passions into being something that they could turn into money and revenue generating businesses. So again, from media programs, I have a really robust film and documentary program. I have fashion programs. I'm actually looking to collaborate. If you guys are into fashion, anybody in the fashion clubs, I'm looking to collaborate with anybody when it comes to college, college clubs as well, because I think there's a tangible value in actually you working with your peers. You know what I'm saying? So like peer mentorship is huge, and I like to encourage that. So if I could bring my students or bring students from Yonkers to Iona College or similar to partnership colleges, they get that experience as well, and you guys could pay it forward as well. So that's something I'm very big on. So again, STEAM. How can we bridge the connection between tech and art? Intro to entrepreneurship. So classes like this. So Power Lab is very big on creating entrepreneurship, providing you guys with the resources to learn what you guys need to then take your business to the next level. We provide all those programs within that as well. Getting the students outside of Yonkers, bringing them to galleries and bringing them to different museums. Social justice programs. We did a beautiful mural program that you may have seen at the Nodine Hill and working with West Hab, where the kids actually had a social justice class and developed a mural based off of what they was learning, what impacted them. So that's something that I'm looking to always do. How can we really get our kids to then become muralists? We have tons of creatives in Yonkers, and this is something that I'm trying to change. It. Tons of creatives in Yonkers, tons of artists in Yonkers, but I have no muralists in Yonkers. So there's different types of artists there's a lack of. So how can I train up to then get a robust community of that? So we have a really dope program that I feature at my space where we're teaching the Yonkers youth to create their own murals, but at the same time too be able to improve some of the vandalized murals that's currently placed in Yonkers. So strategically, that's a way for me to get more money because Parks Department likes to go there and spend a robust amount of money on trying to power wash and repair, right? But now that I got the youth and they're actually doing murals, I get more contracts. See what I mean? So it's strategy behind everything that we do. At the same time, too, it's always the overall impactful give back that's aligned with our mission. We do everything out at gallery, live music performances, brand new exhibitions. We do murals all around the Yonkers, and we always celebrate our creative community. Again, my space, I'm so proud of my space because we're the only gallery in Yonkers that actually has both a fine art gallery and a performing arts space. So I have a really robust stage where you've seen most of those performances with that dope backdrop with the mural, that's right in my gallery. So how can I bridge the gap between Black, brown communities that has a stigma of being in fine art galleries? We love music. Let's be real. Like, I'm just being honest. We love music. We love performance art. That's our bridge. So not only am I bringing them there to experience that, but they get a nice lesson with fine art as well. Yonkers Arts Weekend. So this is actually brand new. So let me give you some context about this and how I took this over, because this is actually pretty crazy. So the city of Yonkers, there's some stories about Yonkers about nepotism and stuff like that happening within. I'm gonna give you some real. I didn't know I could get this real, but I was given permission. So there's stigmas in Yonkers, and I'm pretty sure there's stigmas in every city. I'm very disruptive. Very disruptive. I go into meetings and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be dressed how I want to dress. I could do both. Again, I could come out here with some J's and I could go into a meeting with some suits. At the end of the day, I'm gonna always be real. I went to a meeting and I realized that the city was doing I realized the city had a budget of. The city was actually coordinating Yonkers Arts Weekend for the past couple of years, and we had a review. And I've been trying to take this over because naturally, Yonkers Arts Weekend has my brand in it, right? So I'm very big on protecting my own. Yonkers Arts Weekend presented me with a past budget of what they've been doing annually in the past. I seen that budget and I legit broke out in like hysterical laughter because it was absolutely ridiculous. I then went home after and seen the schedule of the actual 2020, this last year, 2023, the schedule. And it was disrespectful to the point where it was disrespectful in the sense that they bunched everything up at one time, not allowing for the full experience of going to galleries, shortchanging some of the artists, and more. I want to give this a list. So I then went home and I took to Instagram Live, right? And I went crazy on the city of Yonkers. Like crazy, like no lie. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I didn't curse, I didn't disrespect anybody, but I was true to myself. And I was true to what everyone else felt. No lie, the mayor called me that night and was like, Ray, is everything all right with you? You good? You okay? And I told him, I voiced my opinion about how unfair the scheduling was. And the person that did the scheduling was his niece that he hired, right? So, long story short, I ended up getting this contract because they seen the passion that I had for the artists, what I represented, and the work that I'm able to do in executing everything that they want to do and more in Yonkers. So not only am I taking this over, I'm expanding it with a better budget. I'm engaging all of the previous partners that I showed you on that map, and we're going to create an incredible weekend and working with incredible partners similar to that of the New Rochelle Council of the Arts. Like, I look at everyone in my vicinity of what they're doing. I take value. I learn Arts Westchester. I learn their ways. I learn all y'all ways because everybody's competition at the end of the day. Like, in my opinion. But great. I mean, competition could be a great thing, and I see that I see the value in some of these particular what's the name. So we will be doing Yonkers Arts Weekend across the entire city of Yonkers this year. And despite me going crazy on the city of Yonkers and the mayor, we got that contract. So that's just an interesting story with that. And then these are our two main programs that really help us as a sustainable organization, because it's really tough being out here to fundraise and always have to write grants and smooge all the way around to raise money. These are really tangible give backs that has credible and real equitable impact and engagement with the community. These are some of our partners, and I know I left off a bunch of them because I don't even see Iona on here. So these are just a few of our partners I'm always engaging when it comes to different things. So again, like I said, the City of Yonkers has been a huge support. The IDA has been our bank for most of the projects, but I'm very big on collaboration because it makes my job easy. So if I know a specific organization that's doing a better job or doing a great job at something that they're doing, and I would like to integrate it into my mix, I work with them. I'm a big collaborator. Make your job easier when it comes to being a startup. You'll get I'm telling you, it goes a long way. And again, this is my presentation I was kind of showing because I'm trying to sell. So I actually have more in a different version of this presentation. I have a few more slides that has a few different sponsorship levels. And yeah, so if you know anybody that's trying to donate like 50K, just let me know, please. I could definitely use that. But that's essentially that's essentially what Yonkers Arts is, what the Power Lab, some of what Power Lab is, all the things that I currently do, my passions. Yeah, and if there's any questions, please let me know. I'm here for you guys, for sure. All right? Yeah. Any questions? I'll sit here and answer questions like a G.
I don't want to steal anyone's thunder. I'm
Sure.
sure some of you have questions, but if I can maybe kick off.
Sure,
the
absolutely.
question. So one of the things that I would want to ask you about is there seems to be like this disconnect between, so many people enjoy the arts.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
People love art, they love music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even when you talk about like murals, arts is a big part of so many people's lives.
Absolutely.
It's not really this obscure thing that, very few people sort of dabble in or know about.
You're right.
And culturally, it's so prominent, right? But yet, we're told that there's not a lot of economic value in becoming an artist, right? And it seems like there is a disconnect.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so I see your organization, part of the role is maybe providing a platform
Absolutely.
so that artists can figure out how to get
For sure.
economic value. Yeah, so I
No,
wanted
for
to
sure.
speak to that.
No, absolutely. So again, most artists don't realize that they are small businesses and startups themselves. A lot of artists, they take most of their time they put into their craft. So when it comes to understanding what the needs to become a successful business, they don't really have that. I would say majority wouldn't have that. A lot of artists come from money. Again, Yoho, we have a really robust artist community right above my gallery, but about 70 artist studios. And I would say most come from money. I mean already. So, but those that's young and up and coming, there's a struggle, there's a grind, and they don't really understand that up until, we provide those classes where we have relationships with banks, like Valley Bank and Citizens Bank is one of our closest relationships. They come in and provide these particular startups with the resources that they need to understand, like, okay, we could do this. But then I also have, again, artists that's been in the game for so long that they go then be mentors to these particular artists as well, becoming artists, to let them know how to, like, price points. Like, how do you price your art? Because that's something that most artists would never really understand, because you could price it for $15 and then you could go $50,000. Who knows, right? So, so we have all these particular resources. We're creating like an art gym now in Yonkers Arts, where we have all of these coaches that are come in and actually, again, be these mentors to these particular artists to help them thrive and get to that next level. So that's one of my next integrations for Power Lab, because that's big. I mean, Power Lab is really that center for economic development.
Yeah, wait, so an art gym?
Yes. So yeah. So again, like I said, I have access to about 30,000 square feet in my particular gallery location. Some is more built out, some is raw. Most artists like the raw space. Right. So within that raw space is about 6,000 square feet. We have easels, tons of easels around, and couches, lounge like this as well. And we provide that safe space for artists to come by and just learn and just work. It's like kind of like an open studio, whereas people just come in, just do their thing. And we'll have coaches come by, once in a while and help them provide a certain resource or a educational component to that particular, let's say, asset or characteristic. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there any criteria to stop up?
Oh, no, stop by. If you're an artist, I mean, there's no applications. Okay, when Yonkers Arts, the city pays for everything. So yeah, listen, my space is, I always make sure that my space and the doors are always free. I don't believe in charging memberships. I don't believe in hanging fees. Real progressive in my space, but at the same time too, I make sure the city knows that. This is something you need here. So, like, we have the leverage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to leverage who I am, what I represent, and what the value that I could offer from my services and initiatives. So yeah, I'm never worried. Again, even when it comes to politics, again, being in a nonprofit world too, you enter this world, this realm of having to understand politics on every level in relationships. With me, I'm like, okay, well, I don't care who comes in and out, because I'm gonna continue doing what I do, and they're gonna need me no matter what. So that's kind of like my thing, and I take my competitiveness and that to with everything that I do. So I come from a sports background. That competition goes with me everywhere. So, and confidence too. So.
You said you left corporate to do this full time.
Mm-hmm.
How big of a decision was that? Like, what was the thought process going into that? Because I know that has to be pretty, intense.
Oh, it was intense. Yeah. So you know what? Like, again, I didn't leave. I wouldn't say I left cold turkey. I did have a client that allowed me to kind of transition out, despite it not paying the same amount. So having to prepare myself and prepare relationships for that particular decision was extremely hard. Most people won't understand that particular ambition to leave, because people get set in. Like I said, I was getting 6-figure salary. Like, it was easy. It was easy life. But like, again, having conversations here, it's like you turn into this, almost like you be part of a machine, almost. And from there, I wasn't, even though I was getting paid, I didn't feel fulfilled. So that fulfillment came. I felt that fulfillment the day after I left, honestly. So I resigned. The next day I started working at the Power Lab, building out. We built the first Power Lab out with our bare hands. Like, I had no experience putting out anything. So just doing that in itself, like, that felt like a check to me. So again, it wasn't easy. I had that transition a little bit. I did have some support. I had a partner that was supporting me as well, so it wasn't like really, really hard. But I mean, like, again, it was a struggle, because, like I said, you live a certain lifestyle, and then you leave that support system for that lifestyle, and you got to really hustle to get that back. So, yeah.
So I just wanted to piggyback off a little bit on the notion of you saying, you making that pivot within your career,
Mm-hmm.
and deciding to go with something that you feel a lot more fulfilled.
Sure.
Just projecting onto some of our students, I know some of them, they have like the different likes and hobbies
Mm-hmm.
that truly fulfill them, and because being in different spaces, like
Sure.
Times or maybe in La Penta, they sometimes don't know how to strategically, pivot themselves into
Sure.
things that fulfill them.
Absolutely.
Creating a platform for themselves within that. So
Absolutely.
To be able to, tell our students, hey, like, I was able to take the business structure that I have, as you said, you pull up to a place that's full of suits in your Jordans. You being able to take that mindset with you
Right.
to a different space that wants to fulfill you. How could you translate that to us?
So honestly, it's experience. Again, I interned a lot. I got a lot of experience in the field. So it wasn't that like, again, I was just kind of coming into this, just kind of like, thinking I'm this guy. No, like I put the work in. Again, back when internships were not paid and we were doing almost like slave labor. But that work ethic is still instilled within me. Like, going from jobs and doing these particular types of new initiatives where you're not getting paid or you got to really work like a sales commission job where I never had before. I almost got like suckered into doing this job, and I had to force myself to get paid. Like there was no base pay. So with these experiences, it allowed me to kind of build this confidence level that I could take all these experiences with me, no matter how I look, no matter how I dress. Again, no matter what, I know I can outwork you. And I take that confidence with me everywhere. And some people may be turned off about it, but again, a lot of people will want to work with me because at the end of the day, I execute and I know how to execute. The great thing that I do take value in as well, even though I did leave corporate America, was I understood the structure and what was needed to be done in order for me to then leave and do what I'm doing now. Because if I didn't have that structure, I would be Yonkers Arts probably wouldn't be as successful as it is now. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. I'll put it into context. Yes, I do think I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm sorry to bring that up. But again, throughout COVID, and this happened right after, again, one of the many issues of black violence in here in America, was doing the Black Lives Matter mural was, and still to this day, probably the hardest project I've ever done. But at the end of the day, it was the most productive project I've ever done, because what allowed for it to happen throughout this particular project was I collaborated with almost 70 different organizations to actually get this project done. 70 different organizations supported this, and I had about, I'm sorry, flip the numbers. 40 organizations supported it, and I had about 75 to 85 people come out that day from these particular organizations and community. What I say when I say that this is probably our best year and biggest and most impactful project was that building these relationships with these organizations and doing the tangible work allowed me to again get the equity that I have now to then get more grants and get more funding. So having relationships with like the YMCA or like the YWCA or like a West Hab, where we're providing programs to a whole bunch of like underserved communities. This right here allowed us to build those relationships, fortify them, and now I can really do tangible work in collaboration. So that right there is still benefiting us to this day. I gained relationships with the state, multiple different, I didn't even know there was so many different divisions and departments within the state. But I mean, the state's seen what I've done, and I'm actually invited to a few different conferences to talk about this particular project, because for those that know, Yonkers comes from a real racial background, and the stigma behind the desegregation suit, which took place in like the late 80s. There's still a stigma of racial divide in Yonkers. And when I was going through this particular project and I had my locations, I was being pushed away from doing different things. And it got to the point where I threatened the city again. Like, yo, I'm gonna threaten y'all again. If y'all move me again, I'm going to press. And I kid you guys, like I received death threats. I received phone calls at 4 o'clock in the morning, random emails that people made up like right away just to email me. Talking about how if I brought this to their particular space, they're going to do all types of damage to it, and it was all types of crazy threats. The one, and I'll always acknowledge her. I'm a big her up to this day. But the one lady that actually told me who she was, like, I know exactly what her business is to this day. She was the only one who told me that, again, my name is this, and I don't want your thing in front of my particular business. Everybody else made an excuse or lied about who they were to really try to deter me from doing this. So, again, I got to the point where I was like, you know what? One more of these and one more pushback, I'm going to go to press. Sure enough, we got that up right in front of City Hall, right in front of a war memorial, which was like the Veterans Memorial was right there on that block. And I was expecting to see all types of stuff that day. What happened that day was probably the most beautiful day that I probably did anything outside of Yonkers. 45 people came through, from youth to seniors. I didn't have not one issue with vandalism. Only reason why it's not there anymore is because it's on a major bus route. That's the only reason why. So the city really protected that. The city really came through for that, and I'm super, super grateful because like I'm still reaping the benefits from that to this day. So it's way more to that story, but that's kind of
So there's something you talked about leveraging, right?
Yeah.
To pursue that entrepreneurial mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And taking that mindset and leveraging it.
Sure.
Whether it's while they're taking a different course altogether that's not
Absolutely.
entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
or outside in the real world. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you may not have identified as an entrepreneur right away.
Sure.
You left corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't even share that you were not a social entrepreneur. Because I
Right.
think that most entrepreneurs don't even label themselves.
Yeah, we out here just doing the work.
Yeah. How did you leverage? Talk about that.
Yeah, so so even coming into this, I'm always big on learning. Like to this day, I go home, I read a book. I watch all types of just like historical stuff on YouTube, like anything to like spark my brain. I go to different types of museums, galleries. The more experiences, the more knowledge I could just retain. It allows me to have this confidence to then leverage. Like again, I could go into meetings, and again, most people would they probably wouldn't think that I'm this guy based off of like how I come across and how I dress, and sometimes. But at the end of the day, when I start talking, they're like, okay, this guy's been putting the work in. So my leverage really comes from positive execution, positive relationships, and knowing that I'm constantly learning and just trying to expand my repertoire. Like I've never curated a show in my life. I never did a curation, but I'm very big in the culture when it comes to hip hop, and I'm also have some sort of like a little bit of OCD. Like I'm pretty sure some people has OCD. You need a certain level of OCD to be a business guy. I mean, an entrepreneur. Like you have to have some sort of structure, even if it's a little bit manic and crazy. That right there is the edge that kind of gets you over that particular competition or whatever it is that you're fighting for. Mm-hmm. Any questions? Any other?
You have to be a part of your program to do anything, put any part in the gallery.
Oh no, so we're super inclusive. Even if we're Yonkers Arts, it's only Yonkers Arts because that was the name of the organization that I was grandfathered into. I do think that in regards to again me trying to expand and going out, it kind of like the name kind of limits us a little bit. But at the same time too, we're super inclusive. You're an artist, we want to support you. We want to have it so that again we want to have a gallery so that artists of all levels could come and feature their and exhibit their space and their work. Again, I'm not big on any type of hanging fee, so that right there is like a harbor that really it's almost like a hurdle for some artists to really start hanging their work. We want to eliminate all of that. There's no judging, none of that stuff. So we have community shows. We have 2 community shows a year. I try to do 6 every year. So we always encourage. I mean, our last community show had about 70 different artists inside the space. So yeah, so but with Yonkers Arts, just follow us in Yonkers Arts, man. Just let us know. All right. Any other questions? All right, dope. I'm here for you. I usually charge for this. Yeah, listen, I'm here for you. I'm here for you guys for sure. Yup. About 20. So prior to again, my last job was Screen Vision Media in corporate. That right there is cinema advertising. So everything back when the seats weren't like you gotta reserve your seats prior to the actual show, we used to do the commercials before the trailers. So anything the commercials for the trailers, the trivia stuff, anything in lobby, posters, beverage cups, popcorn bags, any of that stuff. So I did that for 7 years. And then prior to that, I was in sales. I did door-to-door sales. Don't ever do that, ever. Oh, man. And listen to this. So I was sucking into this job. I was selling merchant solutions. Imagine. So it's essentially I was going to different store owners and selling the credit card swipe machines. So not only, yeah. Yeah, maybe now. I mean, but again, I super like now I look back at it and I see value in that because I was forced to sell something that I didn't love. So selling something that you love is so much easier. Like, yo, you're forced, like, yo, I had to learn to love merchant solutions. I still don't understand how that shit works. Like, but like, again, now that I have a brand or a product like the arts or economic development, business development that I take pride in, it's easier for me to sell anywhere. Like, and I can talk to anyone now too because they had me. I'm not sure if you guys know about New York City too much, but they had me out in like Bay. Oh man, I'm deep in Brooklyn, Manhattan Beach area where it's like heavy, like a Russian community, and I had to sell to essentially a community that I had no connection to. But I end up learning so much from, and I had my first caviar out there too. It was like probably the best caviar I ever had. But still, I actually learned how to like really break that. Like, how do I break the ice, and really try to get through that gate because gatekeepers is tough, especially if like you don't look like them and it's a completely different culture. It was interesting, but totally, there's so much value in that right now.
Can we circle back to
Sure.
The challenges that you said you experienced with the community?
Yes.
And because you said there was a lot more to that story, so I wonder if you can maybe speak to explicitly exactly what that challenge was.
Yeah.
And then talk about sort of the resiliency.
Sure. Oh man, I got perfect.
Advocate for yourself and the people.
Sure. So, I mean, I put everything into context to make you guys understand a little bit more. There was one issue that I had at the Black Lives Matter mural, and I don't really label it an issue because at the end of the day now I have a super great relationship with this person now. So the day of the mural and the installation, there was a woman that came by who was very loud and Black Lives Matter, Marxist, is all of this stuff, like super, like just very, very aggressive. I had youth out there. I had kids out there that was as young as 5 years old painting the ground. She was very abrasive. So those are all my peoples out there. Like, Yonkers, we roll deep. You know what I'm saying? So all my peoples are there, and I see people like on edge and looking to defend me and protect what's happening. So what I did was I took that woman down the block and just had a real casual conversation with her, let her know what I represent, what this is for, all that stuff. This lady, I had no idea, was recording me on Facebook Live. And yeah, I know. But what people were starting to realize, and suppose she had like hundreds of people on there because this was like a real big thing at the time. What they heard was me being super sincere, me not raising my voice, me keeping a complete level-headed tone, very caring, because I seen when someone's troubled, right? And I seen that in her eyes. So long story short, that woman ended up having to be the wife of the PBA, the head of the PBA. PBA is the Police Benevolence Association, the head of it. So this man runs Westchester. That is my best friend to this day. I see them all the time. I won't name drop, but yeah, he's that relationship. Even when I seen his wife, like this all love, invite me to dinner at their house. The family loves me, and at the end of the day, like again, she had city people on that live, people that was in City Hall. So they seen Ray, they see what I represent. That allows equity within myself, and it still was a win. It was a win. So.
What do you think explains your ability to maybe bridge that divide? Because, especially
yeah. Oh no, for sure. Yo, I mean, I still think to this day I haven't gotten over the Black Lives Matter mural hangover. I still to this day, but like you need advice. You definitely need advice. So any type of like, again, startup, nonprofit, any business that you're like constantly dealing with tons of people, tons of different decisions, your brain is always moving. You need advice. And again, I'm talking to the last entrepreneur that came on here, Mike. I box 3 or 4 times a week because again, coming from playing sports, I'm an old head now. I can't play sports like I used to. I still got a little something inside here, just in case. You know what I'm saying? But that release, that contact for me, and hitting a bag allows me to kind of like let it all go, because you need to. If not, then you'll drive yourself a little crazy. Honestly, most times in a nonprofit, you're like one of probably the only one really putting the work in. Like I wear many hats of what I do: marketing, outreach, relationship building, graphic design, content. I do everything within my wheelhouse. So it's a lot at the end of the day. Again, I love what I do, but I do work a lot. But it's worth it. And at the end of the day, like people see that it's worth it, and I continue to get more opportunities out here. So.
Do you guys have like an apparel line or like?
So I'm getting some merch. I'm getting some merch coming soon. We did some hoodies last year. But I want to work with more artists to then help them develop, you know what I'm saying, like some lines as well. So like if it doesn't come from me, I can help someone like an up and comer, you know what I'm saying, do their own thing.
Yeah, like all the artists, like maybe they have like their own, they do their own design.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned it. I just hired this young gentleman who has a streetwear line. He does photography. He's an incredible creative director. So being that again, he's now under Yonkers Arts. I'm taking him on as almost like my mentee almost, because he's super talented. So I would like to foster that. Like while I won't offer it, I'll foster someone else and help them to kind of develop that. And that just comes from just again the business mentor type of stuff, but then also kind of fostering your art.
Throughout the process of like you transitioning from the corporate world to nonprofit, did you have like a mentor along the way or mentor?
So okay, I wish I had more, honestly. I read a lot of books, honestly. Like I identified like a celebrity mentor, right? Just based off of their experiences. And Steve Stout is one of my mentors that again, I had the fortunate opportunity to talk to him on the phone for like a couple minutes, and I was trying to pick his brain like right away, like how, but I'm like, let me just be easy a little bit. So I read a lot of books, but then once I got into the game, then I started meeting people that was more affluent in it. So like I utilized a bunch of my like the gallery owners that's been curators for a while. It has like degrees in curation. I sat with them. I take them out to lunch, like ask them questions how to do it, like watch them curate, watch them how to place like light placement. Like I had no idea about any of this stuff before, so I asked them a lot of questions. Now I take tons of meetings with people that's been in a nonprofit game for a while. Those that I know that's doing the real work, because within this type of industry, you can see a lot of people that's been in it for a long time and not really doing a great job with it, right? Like because if you're good at what you do, you could be grandfathered into a lot of opportunities over the course of years, like sometimes decades. And those people that you got to be kind of be worried about and stay away from.
You spoke about relationships. You've got lots of different relationships with like a wide network of people.
Mm-hmm.
How do you put yourself in the right spots to make those connections?
That's a great question. So one of the greatest spots was that mural. Engaging our partners on a weekly basis, like this is what's happening, updating them. Like people really they enjoyed that. I was in people's faces. But I'm very big. Like again, it doesn't take much for me to go to an event and be like, this is what I do. Nice to meet you. I heard a lot about you. Exchange information right away. Yonkers is a big city, small community. A lot of the activities happen in a concentrated area as well. I like to feature a lot of those opportunities in my space, because then I get to meet a lot of new people. But Power Lab essentially was that hub, and now Yonkers Arts is becoming that hub as well. So I still again real tangible, valuable relationships I maintain. Some filter through the cracks, and they probably you know how that goes. Yeah. Any other questions? All right.
What's some good
My advice is, I could break it down into sections a little bit, right? One is, like, currency could mean a few different things. I value currency as paying it forward, because that karma always comes back. Like, pay it forward. Like, again, this is paying it forward. I came here, I think I came here last year, right, Rob? Or 2 years ago? Maybe 2 years. 2 years ago. And I met a phenomenal entrepreneur. Had a great product, had a great story. And I'm still friends with that particular person till this day, because she has tons of ambition. She knows, like, she's about it. So if I can involve her in different things that I got going on too, that's big. So relationships are huge. That's key. Paying it forward is key. Get the experience, get the tangible experience. Even if you're not getting paid for it, internships, apprenticeships is very, very important. Get an experience into some of the things that you think you want to do, because most of the times you might change your mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Like, again, I thought that I wanted to be a lawyer when I was coming up. I went to my mom's job 2 days and I changed my mind immediately. Like, I'm not doing this. You can't pay me to be a liar out here in these streets. But yeah, no. So, like, yeah, I think relationships are huge. The experience before you get into your, like, relative career, your field, is very, very big. And just, like, really pay it forward. Again, like, you guys are the come up. Like, again, I'm hoping that you guys become super successful, and then hit me up like, yo, Ray, you know what? These are things that I kind of took from your presentation that I really use to this day. Let's get lunch. Let's kick it. I'm like, yo, let's do that shit. Yo, I'm here. So I'm always going to be here for y'all. So whatever you guys need, just let me know. Yonkers Arts, everything. You can follow us on everywhere. Yonkers Arts. Yeah. So network. Yeah. Network. Get out of your wheelhouse a little bit. Even if it's something that you don't think you're interested in, check it out. Like, who knows? There's something that you can learn in everything, because I absolutely hated doing sales at that time. But now, like, I could go into any business and be like, yo, you need some merchant solutions? So, any other questions? Yeah, follow us again. I do everything. So I have two people also, but I manage the Yonkers Arts Instagram page. You can follow us on Yonkers Arts. You can email us. Our website has our contact information too, so if you ever want to drop just a note on our website. But yeah, just send me an email. I'll give Rob has my email, my contact information. I would love to keep in contact, answer any questions for you guys. Like I said, I normally charge for this, but you guys are good. So yeah. All right.
And I encourage you all to attend Meet the Mentors, which is Thursday night from 6:30 to 8:30. So there are more opportunities for networking, and of course, please join us all day long today. We have more guest speakers coming in from different, diverse backgrounds in industry today and tomorrow. So let's give a round of applause.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm here. I'm staying for a little bit.
Please network with Ray.
Sure.